welcome back. Introducing a mum of two, fitness coach and PT, Lucie Scarlett, to the podcast. Welcome, Lucy. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. I've been really looking forward to having you on.
Yeah, I've been excited to be on. I've listened to quite a few of your episodes. I was like,
Oh,
oh, I
that's
want to
so
do
nice.
this. I want to get involved.
Yeah, no, it's so nice to hear. So a bit of background, me and Lucy worked together, like 8 years ago?
Yeah.
Something like that. We were
Must,
both waitressing together. Yeah.
it must be something
And
like that. God, I don't know.
yeah, I just remember feeling really young, and I don't feel like that now. So I'm thinking it probably was around then. But
Yeah.
yeah, Lucy has gone on to become a fitness coach and PT. She works with women predominantly. So I thought it'd be a really good opportunity to have her on the podcast and share a bit about her and her background and how exercise can help with mental health and also obviously physical as well. So let's get started, Lucy. So let's talk through like your early life. How was your experience growing up?
Yeah, so I grew up with just my mum. It was just me and my mum until I was about 6, and then my mum met my stepdad and got married. Um, so yeah, it was like my mum, obviously she was a single mum and she was with me. Don't know really much to say really about my childhood. Everything kind of got a bit dramatic as I got older.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, didn't obviously I had my stepdad from when I was 6. We lost him when I was 12, so
Oh, I'm sorry
he
to hear
passed
that.
away. He had skin cancer. So yeah, my mum's been through like a lot. I've watched her go through a lot growing up.
That's obviously given you the drive, I guess, seeing your mum go through like a lot of trauma because you are a really strong
Yeah.
woman.
It's weird, isn't it? Because like when you like it's you kind of you don't feel like you're strong because you go through so many like ups and downs, don't you?
I get it, but when you look back, like everything you've achieved, you've done that because you've got a lot of strength, though. So let's talk through your first pregnancy. So you've got two little boys, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. How was your first pregnancy? Like, were you trying, or what happened there?
No. So yeah, so you go back like my mum moved to Spain when I was 16. So I like lived on my own. I came back to England. I just lived on my own because I always go to college and do dance. So
Mm-hmm.
I lived on my own, and then I was in I was with my first boyfriend for like 6 years from when I was like 16, and then when we broke up, I then got with my little boy's dad, and we were only together for 6 months, and I found out I was pregnant.
Oh, okay.
And I was never this like, I suppose it's kind of maybe like see what my mom kind of went through, but I was like never one of these girls who was like, I can't wait to get married and have babies and all this. Like, I just wanted to grow up, move to America, and just have a dog. Like, I
Yeah.
wasn't, do you know what I mean? So yeah, it was a massive shock. I fell pregnant when I was like 21, and I was kind of like, okay, I've just got to kind of deal with this now. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was really scary. Me and my mum are really close. She was like my best friend, but we did
Yeah.
fall out quite bad at the time because I can understand from a mum's point of view. I can
Yeah.
understand looking back why she was so upset and kind of probably really scared.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, like me and my little boy's dad as well. We'd basically given up our jobs where we used to live near Cambridge because we were going to move to Brighton. Um, so we gave up our jobs. Our plan was to live in Hammersmith for 6 months and work at his brother's pub, and then get transferred our jobs down to Brighton and then moved down to Brighton. So we literally
Yeah.
gave up our jobs, did all this, and then I found out I was pregnant. So I had to do all that
Oh.
while I was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
It's
that
it's
was
a
really
lot
ideal.
being a
Yeah,
young mum and then not obviously planning it. I mean, sometimes I look back and I think, obviously, I'm so grateful that I was able to actually have a baby because there's so many people out there who can't. So that opportunity
yeah.
obviously is amazing, but it's still scary in itself.
Yeah, because like I don't have any family here either, so it was like me and my little boy's dad, and like me and my mum weren't really talking that much at the time, so I was
Yeah,
very much like on my own sort of thing. And yeah, it
yeah,
was
that
just
must have been really
scary.
scary.
Yeah.
How was your pregnancy?
Oh God, it was awful. I was literally sick every single day. Like I
Oh
had
no.
such bad morning sickness. It became part of my routine because I used to start work at 6 in the morning. I used to get up, go to work, and everyone just knew I'd like go downstairs and be sick. and I'd have to be
Oh,
sucking on like ice cubes for the first like half of the day.
oh, bless
Um,
you.
it just became like my routine.
Did you have to have any medication or anything for it, or
No, I
they didn't
wasn't
give you
given
anything?
anything. I don't think I caused much of a fuss really.
Yeah, yeah, you come across as that type. I think you're so sweet and lovely. You're probably like, it's fine, but really, you're like throwing up.
Yeah, we like
Bless
lived in
you.
because we lived in London as well. Like, because I felt like I lost quite a bit of weight because I was walking everywhere because I couldn't get
Mm,
on the tubes or anything because it would make me feel more sick. So
yeah.
I was literally walking like everywhere in London.
So, how did you end up coming down here? Was that before or after you had him?
So it was the plan was always to move down here.
Yeah,
I had to stop. Well, I worked until like nearly right at the end, and then I had to stop because I was doing too much and had a bit of a
yeah.
scare. And I went back to near Cambridge where I live to have him, and we literally moved down here like 3 days later.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we had like we got our house and everything, and we actually moved in the day he was actually due because I had him a little bit early.
Was that
Yeah.
natural or did you get induced?
It was natural. Well, my waters broke. Like in the morning, it was like really weird. I was just laying there, and then suddenly I was like, "Oh my God, what's happened?" Jumped up, and like my waters just completely broke. And it was only like a 6 hour labour. It was pretty traumatizing, though. I just had gas and air. Like I went to the hospital, and I got on the gas and air, and I was like, "Oh, this is great," because you know when they tell you, I don't know if they told you, like when you're young and you're fit, they're like your body would just take over. And I had the gas in there. I was like, yeah, I'm fit and I'm young. Like, this is going to be, not easy, but it's going to be all right. Literally, I got in the birthing pool and just all hell broke loose. I was like passing out. I was being sick in the
Oh,
pool.
bless you.
I was trying to like, you know, when like your body automatically pushes when you're ready.
Yeah.
So I was doing that, but the midwife, I think it was like a trainee midwife, she was like saying, no, don't push, you're not ready yet. But I was getting stressed out because I was like, well, my body's already doing it. Like,
Yeah, you can't stop
yeah,
it, can you? I
yeah,
think there's
they,
so much to be said about like listening to, yourself and what you're feeling and going with it because you're the only one that can feel it at the end of the day.
Yeah, they end up having to drag me out of the pool onto the floor to push. And my little boy's dad said my face literally just changed. I had like game face on, like get this baby out of me, and I was like
Oh,
proper went for it.
oh,
So
bless
yeah,
you. And how was that like newborn bubble for you? Did you adapt well or was it a bit of a struggle?
yeah, no, I did really. It was weird because like we came down to Brighton, and then my little boy's dad, he was still working in London, so he was gone like 12, 14 hours a day. So it was
Oh, wow.
just me and Will. When I
Yeah.
look back, it was just like I had like it's just such precious memories. Like it was like me and him were like in our own little bubble. I remember they were a bit worried. I did lose a bit of weight because I think I was so focused on the baby. I was literally living on honey and toast because I was so like mesmerized with Will and doing everything for him. But yeah, we had a great time. I'd like walk down to Starbucks with him in my little, the little
Carrier.
carrier.
Yeah. How did you find meeting like new friends in a new area with a baby? Did you go to like baby groups and stuff?
I did go to a few, but I didn't really meet anyone. Like, I don't know, God, it seems so long ago. When he was a little bit older, like when he was like, well, like one or something, I started going to a few. But like, I remember going to this one, and they were like very, the sorts of mums who were like feeding their babies all organic stuff
Yeah, I know the
and all
type.
this. Yeah, and I was just really like, oh my God, like this is a bit too much.
Do you know what it is as well? It's like I'm all for like you do what's best for you, but I just feel like they look down on their nose at you because you're not doing the same. I'm not one to judge if you want to feed your baby organic or if you don't, I don't care. If you want to feed your kid chips off that fallen on the floor, I literally don't care. You do you. But it's the way that they are quite judgy, even down to
Yeah,
like I was breastfeeding with Jude and then um I've said it before on here. It sounds really stupid now, but when you're in that newborn bubble head and you've got all this stuff going on, you don't really think clearly. They were like, "Oh, he's lactose intolerant, so you need to go on formula, on like a formula prescribed through the doctors." And at the time, I didn't even think if I just went like dairy free, it would have all been okay. But I just didn't even think. But the amount of judgment you get for giving your baby a bottle instead of breast and things like that, it's just honestly that needs to change in society. It's so judgy.
yeah, yeah. And then how they're like so against like them having like dummies and all
Yeah,
this thing. I just think like every baby and mum is individual, and you just know what works for you. As long as like your baby's like safe and getting everything it needs and is loved, then You're not
Yeah.
doing anything wrong. You can't go
No,
wrong.
definitely. So how long after you had Will did you have your second child?
Um, so I actually fell pregnant quite. I was breastfeeding Will, and I ended up falling pregnant again. Um, but this wasn't with Charlie. I ended up having to have an abortion because I was really sick, like really
Yeah.
ill, and I couldn't look after Will. So I ended up having an abortion, and then I fell pregnant with Charlie when Will was like one, and there's like just under 2 years between them. And yeah, do you know what? If I'm gonna be completely like honest, like I was so scared and I was like, I don't know if I want this. Up until I was probably about like 6 months pregnant, I was like, there was so many times where I would be like calling up like the doctors to say like I have actually changed my mind, I can't do this. Like I don't know, it was just so scary because I was so worried about how it's going to impact Will as well because he was so young.
Do you know what? That's so honest and raw. Not many people would open up even about you saying that you had the abortion. Like people normally shy away from those things. But I think if it's not right for you or if it's going to impact your life in a negative way that's going to stop you from being a good mum to your other child, I completely understand. Like, and having another one, like even now, the thought of me having another one now terrifies me. So I'm like, I don't think I could cope.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's such a small age gap to be able to do that.
Well, yeah, there's like just under 2 years between them.
And how was that with the two of them growing up?
Yeah, it was hard. So yeah, when I was pregnant, I remember I found the pregnancy like not it's weird because even though I was sick every day with Will, like it was more enjoyable than when I was pregnant with Charlie because I had Will to
Mhm.
look after.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, like to be honest with you, I can't really remember that much. I just kind of got on with it. Like I was just I was just consumed with, looking after them both. Me and their dad, we broke up when they were like 2 and 4, I think.
Oh, okay.
Um, so yeah, I was pretty much like on my own with them, but it didn't really make much of a difference because he wasn't really around anyway when, like the first couple of years and whatnot. So to go to being a
Yeah.
single parent, I didn't feel like a massive change.
No, a massive shift. I was the same with Ez's
Yeah.
dad actually, because he was in the army, so I was doing it by myself anyway. So he would only come back every few months. So it is, in some respects, it's actually easier, isn't it, when that happens? Because you're like, right, well, I know what's going on now. Did you
Yeah.
get much help, like a break with them, or did you have them all the time?
Literally had them all the time, yeah. And
Oh,
yeah, because my mum lives in Spain, I don't have any
yeah,
family around here, so
yeah.
and we didn't really get much help to be honest. I remember like when I was with my boy's dad, like I'd say like, can we go for like a date night or something? And like your mum have the boys, and then he was like, oh no, because we haven't got much money and all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, I never really got a break. I can't. Do you know what? My memory's so bad, but I can't really remember ever getting to a point where I was like, I need a break because I feel like they were just my life, and I didn't really know much different at the
You don't
time.
know
You
any
know?
different. And I actually think having them both together, although it was really hard at the time, you're probably glad that you've done it all at once because me, myself, obviously, I've got like an 11-year age gap and it's such a shock to the system starting again at that
Yeah.
age. Obviously, because you didn't get much help, how was your dating life after that?
So yeah, we broke up. So I was 27 so it was really weird because I'd never really been single because I was with my first boyfriend from when I was 16, and then I got straight with my little boy's dad. So suddenly I was single but I had 2 children. So I was like, this is really weird. But I had points where at first, like the arrangement wasn't very, like their dad wasn't really having them. He'd have them while I went
Mm.
to a Zumba class, and that was it. So we had to go through like a big sort of thing for him to have them every other weekend. But there was points where like my brother come and live with me for a while because he was like doing college here. So he'd come and stay at mine sometimes, or he like lived down the road, so he'd come and stay over while I went, like if I like had a date or something, or my sister. But yeah, I didn't really get much time to be honest.
I bet that was really hard to navigate. Work-wise, how old were they when you went into? Because when I met you, I think you'd already started doing Zumba teaching.
Yeah, I've done that since I was, God, 20, 21, 20, 21.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, yes, I was waitressing. I was waitressing at Weatherspoons when I was pregnant with them, and just
Yeah.
after, um, which was awful. That was like probably one of the worst jobs I've had. And I can't remember when I started doing Zumba again, to be honest. I think it was probably like a year or two after. I was doing Zumba full time. I was doing like 13, 14 classes a week. But then when
Wow.
me and my little boy's dad broke up, I had to give up loads of my classes, which was really sad.
It's so bad. I think when you go through a breakup, it is the woman that has to sacrifice their careers. I'm having the same issue at the moment where I've obviously been able to be flexible with work and around the kids, and now I'm like, actually, I need some more time for work. And it's
Yeah.
so hard getting that common ground because it's like, why is it that the male's career is above the women's? I don't get it. It's like, why does that get prioritized?
And it's really hard because like I've had so many people say to me like you need to put your foot down more, like you need to like get him to have them. But I'm like, if I can't physically get him to have them, do you know what I mean? Unless I
No.
go and drop them off at his doorstep and leave, which I'm not gonna do.
Do you know
Like,
what, as well? They will grow up and know how much you were there for them, and he'll be the one with the regrets. Is he present in their lives now?
yeah, he has them every other weekend. We've started to like, well, it's been like 7 years now, so we've only just started becoming a bit more amicable. If I do say like it is hard still because he's with someone now and they've got a baby. It's really hard because like I feel like he could have them more, and it's really hard. Like if I want to go away or something like that, I can't just go away. I
No.
can't be like, oh, can you have the boys while I go somewhere? And it's always like you feel like you're asking a favor, which it shouldn't be a
Yeah.
favor.
No, it's like you're asking to babysit almost. And it's like, actually, they're half yours. Like, that should be half the responsibility. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
really lucky because Jude goes to his dad's half the week. And to be honest, I don't like that. I'd rather have him more. But, for him, I think it's really important that he's got an equal relationship with both of us. But as like her relationship with her dad, we've gone through him not seeing her until like every 3 or 4 months when he was in the army. Then he came out and had her half, and then he had another baby and moved away, and then it went to like every 3 or 4 months again. And it's like, how I don't understand how people can like. I would not be able to go months without seeing my kids. I just don't get it. I don't know how people do
yeah.
it. Even every other weekend, that would not be enough for me. Each to their own, but it just wouldn't be enough for me. And I know some women prefer having them all the time, but yeah, it's a hard one to navigate. Let's talk about your working life and your fitness. So how did you get into that side of things?
So I've always been into like fitness because I feel like my mum is. So
Yeah.
I've kind of grown up with her being very much into fitness. And then obviously like I've always danced all my life since I was a little girl. So dancing's
Mhm.
like one of my like biggest passions. Which is when I went into Zumba. So I went to college and I did dance. And then I left there and I auditioned for a big dance school in Cambridge, which I got in, but it was like 3.5 grand a term for like three or
Oh,
four
wow.
years. And my mum said she would pay it, and I was just like, I just can't have that sort of pressure on me. Because dancing's really hard as well. Like it's very competitive, and I just kept thinking, which is one thing that I really need to like I've been working on all my life is my confidence, my self-esteem. It's never been that great. And I at the time I thought, what if I can't do it? Da, da, da. I went into teaching dance instead. I used to teach at a little dance school on a Saturday, which was like the best job
Oh,
ever. And
yeah.
then my mum, she was like, have you heard about this thing called Zumba? Like, you should go do it. And she just enrolled me onto an instructor training up in Scotland. And I didn't even know what Zumba was really. And I went up there and I just fell in love. I was like, oh my God, this is like the best. So yeah, I went into being a Zumba instructor, and then I started training at the gym. I started strength training. I fell in love with weights and that form of training. Um, so yeah, that was just like a massive hobby and passion of mine. And in the last few years, I've become a PT. And yeah, so it's kind of gone along like that really. So my whole life's kind of been revolved around like dance and fitness.
The type of clients that you take on for PTs, do you find it's a lot of them are like postpartum, or is it just like any sort of stage of life?
I have like a range of clients at the moment, from like younger clients to older clients, clients that are mums and also clients that aren't mums. It's really hard really because I felt like my niche would be mums because I'm a mum. I kind of like I know the barriers that come with, being a mum. Like I go through it myself. So,
Hmm.
you get coaches these young like coaches who are women but they don't have children, and they just don't get it. Like they
No,
say,
I don't think
oh,
they're very relatable.
yeah, and they're like, and like when they're like, oh, if you want something enough, you'll just do it and stuff. But it's like sometimes it's hard when you've got kids involved. I felt like that was kind of my niche, but the more I'm starting to, over the years, I felt like my sort of niche and my passion is helping all women who have like really low confidence levels,
Mhm.
and helping women with like their mindset. So regardless if they're a mum or not, like with mums, I get it, and I feel like I can relate to a lot of their problems, and I can help in that way. But I
Mhm.
like helping uh, women of all different ages who need that bit more self belief and confidence in themselves.
Definitely. And I
So
think going into the gym as well, if you're not like a gym, I'm not really a gym person. I go to my PTs with one of my friends who's a PT. But I think going into the gym, if you don't know what you're doing, is really overwhelming. I remember stepping foot in one and going up to like the machines and being like, I actually don't know what I'm doing and I don't want people looking at me and being like, what the hell is she doing? Like that's the thought that runs through a lot of women's head, I think. Well, not even women,
yeah,
everyone. Anyone that's going into the gym that's never really been into it, it is really daunting.
I think that's natural. Like even when I go into a gym that I've never been in before, and they've got machines that I've never seen, I'm like, oh my God, what is this? Like it's like
Yeah.
something from like Saw or something. Like how do I even get into this?
Oh, it is. It can be really, really daunting. So that's really important, I think, to make sure that, as you say, you're bringing their self confidence up to do it. And what sort of results are you seeing at the moment with your clients?
So I've had like numerous like clients throughout the last like few years who have like
Mhm.
seen their body composition. I'm not all about just like losing weight. I like to help women like change their body composition, so get stronger and build muscle while
Yeah.
getting their fat percentage down. But do you know what? Like, I know it sounds really cheesy, but my most favorite transformations is when they're saying to me, "Oh my God, like I did this today. I never thought I'd be able to do this. I hit this weight
Yeah.
today, like getting stronger." Like I've got a client at the moment, and she was so scared of going to the gym on her own. She won't step into the gym on her own. And even when she came to meet me, she was like, it was like she was petrified of going to a gym, like at all. And we've been working together the last like couple of months, and she went in on her own the other day, and I was like, it's
Oh,
such a massive achievement. And like, and she said, I know it sounds really silly, and I said to her, like, everyone has their own fears. Like, do you know what I mean? That may seem silly to somebody else, but it's not silly because it's such a massive thing to you.
so talk to us about your bikini competition.
Yeah, so last year I did Miami Pro, competed in Miami Pro.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, do you know what? Like, I did do really well. I came third in, I entered two categories, fit mum and bikini. I came third in both of those. And then
Wow.
I ended up going through to the pro show. I got my pro card and I went through to my pro show and I got a second.
Wow,
So
that's amazing.
I loved the actual day because it kind of reminded me a little bit of when I used to do dancing, like getting all
Yeah.
dressed up. Like I have never had like, oh, well, I think I've had my makeup done for me once for my friend's wedding, like years and years ago. But
Yeah.
so I did my makeup and my hair, and I got to wear like an amazing like bikinis and that.
Your bikini was incredible. You look
Yeah, and
so pretty.
thank you. Yeah,
No.
it was like it was an amazing experience. But so the build up to that was really hard work. I was on minimal calories. I was doing like over an hour cardio a day. I was
Wow.
like, yeah, it was just ridiculous. Like it wasn't fun. Like I was having to, if I hadn't done my cardio during the day, I had to get like an indoor bike for the living room. And if I hadn't done my hour cardio, like 11, 12 at night, I had to get on and do it. And,
Oh my
or
God.
like, I'd try and do a bit before, like in the morning. But at the time, obviously, I had the kids. I had a reception job where I was working like starting at like 5, 6 in the morning. I had my PTs. It was just all I felt like I was like kind of ground into the ground a little. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Grounded to the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. um, I feel like I was made like I feel like I was one of the leanest on the stage. I feel like because it was like fitness fashion, it wasn't like like other bodybuilding competitions like PCA and that where your body fat has to be really really like down.
Mm.
Um, because it was like more fitness fashion. It's kind of like like I wanted to do one of those competitions because I didn't want to get so lean, but I feel like my coaches kind of mm, they pushed me a bit too hard. I don't think they really understood, like, because they're two guys, I don't think they really understood being a mum, hormones, all this sort of stuff. Like there was one time during like when I was like doing my competition, I went to Spain. I ended up having like a binge because I was like being pushed too hard. Like I wasn't really getting any like refeeds or anything. So I feel like I was pushed too hard. And then post show, I just really struggled. I didn't think I would. I thought I had it all, you know,
Yeah,
like I thought I was going to be okay. But a couple of weeks after, like my hunger was just crazy. I was eating
really.
double. I was eating double what my boyfriend eats, and I was still hungry. Everyone was just like,
Wow.
Lucy, like it wasn't filling me up. I was just so hungry. My hormones were so out of whack. And then
Do
I
you
ended
think
up,
it had a detrimental effect to like your mental health as well as your physical? Or
yeah, it might sound silly to some people, but like I feel like where it was so extreme, like prepping for my competition, afterwards, I didn't even want to go to the gym. And it was really, really sad because the gym's something I've always enjoyed and had like a massive like passion for. And
hmm.
I didn't want to, I felt like I kind of lost my identity because I didn't want to go to the gym. I remember I got like really like anxious one day going to the gym. I didn't even want to go when I went with my boyfriend. I didn't want to like eat. I didn't want to meal prep. I didn't want to track my steps. I just wanted. I had like when you have the ick.
Yeah,
I had the ick
yeah.
for anything like that, and I was just like, yeah, I was just pushed too hard.
Do you think that industry, I know obviously you're very into fitness, I know your partner is, but do you think that industry is actually damaging?
Yeah, like I think unless you, there was obviously like some bodybuilders, it's their life,
Mm.
and unless it's kind of like I just found it so hard to juggle having kids, having a normal life, like they'd all go to McDonald's and I'd be sitting there with a Diet Coke. It was horrible. Like it's just
Yeah,
like it's like the freedom to be able to eat what I wanted. Um, Obviously, I feel like it's made me a better coach because I've really understood going through the nitty gritty what restricted dieting can do to your body, like firsthand.
mm.
But yeah, the bodybuilding industry, like, it's hard. Like, if for people who make it like their life and make it, it's extreme sport at the end of the day, then that's their choice. There's all different sports that are unhealthy, that blah blah blah. But I think for a mum to push yourself, when you've got like kids, when you're working, when you've got so many other things, it's
Mm.
just hard. It's hard to maintain like your relationships. Like I wasn't even seeing my friends because I was just so exhausted and I was just so like zoned in this competition. My like mood was all over the place.
I think too much of anything is unhealthy anyway, regardless what it is. Even if it's like overeating, for instance, like going out
Yeah.
for dinner too much, that's still bad for you. Whether you exercise too much, there's so many things that people become like addicted to that one thing, and it doesn't have to be drugs, alcohol, anything. You can become too obsessed with certain things, and that becomes unhealthy. And then, as you say, it has a detrimental effect to mental health. And if you are a mum and you're juggling all of these different hats, it's just, yeah, it's way too intense. How did you come back from that? Like, go ease yourself back into the gym and enjoying it again?
Well, I feel like my PTs actually really helped me. So when I was going and I was doing, because I get so much, like it literally like I know it sounds really cheesy, but it literally makes my heart feel full. My job, like I'll go
Yeah,
and I'll be like pushing someone to do like more weight, and they'll be like, I can't do that, and I'm like, yeah, you can, and then they'll do it, and I'll be like, that's amazing. They'll feel so amazing about themselves, and yeah, it's just so like I love my job so much, and seeing my clients thrive, like
yeah,
it's helped me. So helping them has actually helped me because I'm like, yeah, I want to get back into this. I want to start getting stronger. And yeah, at first I was just, oh, I don't know if I'm ever even going to want to go to the gym again and do weight training. But now, like,
yeah,
I want to get back to where I was before. And I've got like I've got such a like an appreciation of where I was before. So when I was just like a normal girl who used to go and train hard and get strong, like I want that again. I don't want to
yeah,
be. The thing is as well with like the show, it's so like much about how you look. and you're constantly like looking for any like a bit of muscle that's coming through, or where you've like lost a bit more fat. And I just want to come away from like looking at myself and do it
Yeah.
for like the strength.
I was going to say as well, because obviously you said you had low self-esteem in yourself. I guess going to that competition and getting placed the way you did, that probably done you wonders as well, though. Like, so it's the two things. Do you think you would ever go back and do another one, or has it put you off for life?
No, it's put me off. I always wanted to do the WBFF, which is like a big fitness fashion competition.
Yeah.
Um, it's a shame really, because I just feel like my prep wasn't right for me. Like I feel
Mm,
like it would be right for like everyone's so different. This is the thing, is like when you're a coach as well, like not one coach is good for everybody. Like there's so many different coaches and everyone's so individual that some coaches just work well with certain individuals. I know like the client base I've got at the moment, like we're so right for each other. Um, and I just don't think I was the right fit for the coaches that I had.
Going back to now, obviously we spoke about dating after you split with your partner. Obviously you're in a really lovely relationship now. Talk to us a little bit about that. How did you meet, and how long have you been together, and what's the plans for the future there?
Oh, blimey. um, yeah, so we've been together for 2 years in October. I was on my own for like 6 years. I had a couple of relationships, like short term, like a few months or whatever, in between that. But yeah, I was very used to kind of like being on my own. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, me and Jamie, we used to work together. He was a doorman. So we just kind of worked together, and but he was also into coaching in the gym, like he did coaching for a while. So we kind of got talking, um, like, for our love of all that. And yeah, he actually messaged me. So
He
he
made the
messaged me.
first move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he made the first move. And then yeah, we just planned to go to the gym together. We just said, oh, we'll go for a session at the gym once I was back from Spain seeing my mum. And yeah, it just kind of happened from there, really. We just end up, you just end up kind of like wanting to see each other most days, and introduce him to the boys, and the boys like really love him. Um,
That's so nice.
Especially my older little boy, he like idolizes him. It's really funny.
Oh.
He'll come into like our room, and he'll be like looking, and like Jamie's like stuff on the side, like his like laptop on his keyboard, and all his like little like fragrances he's got, and we're always like, oh my god, what's this? What's this? It's really funny.
Oh, that's
So
so nice. I guess it's always a worry when you're like a single mum and then you meet somebody else, is if they're going to fit in well with your family. And it seems like he does. He seems like a really good stepdad to the boys.
yeah, yeah, we've got two dogs as well.
Oh, God, the house full then.
Oh my God, yeah, they're crazy as well. We didn't mean to get two, but then we just couldn't decide. He wanted one, I wanted the other, and then
You
because
just
they
got
were
both.
like sisters, yeah, I don't know why we did
Oh,
it, but oh well.
so you've got your hands full at home then.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to let everybody know where they can find you and what services you provide?
So on Instagram, Lucie Scarlett Fitness. So I do need to start making more content and getting on there a bit more, but I've just really social media, I'm just not with it at all. I'm such like an old person at heart. Um, so yeah, I do online coaching and also in-person PTs as well. PT in person from Fitz Gym, which is near Hickstead, and also Levels PT Studio in Port Slade. So I cover two areas. I haven't been advertising my online coaching as much because I've just been so busy with my PTs. From my own life experience and what I've learned, and what I've learned from other clients that I've coached, I'm also doing my psychology um, course as well soon at
Oh,
college. So
amazing.
yeah, because I just really want to delve in and learn as much as I can. I just really want to help women like boost their confidence, have more belief in themselves, get out of all this like yo-yo dieting, restrictive eating, just like comparing themselves to what they're seeing on social media, just like all the toxicity that comes around, body image. I basically want to make every woman I come across feel empowered, strong, fierce, like completely unstoppable. That's like my goal, that I want to
Yeah.
like you know, so I want to be able to like make such a positive impact in people's lives and for them to take that on like forever into the rest of their life, you know.
Honestly, from like obviously, as I said, we've known each other for 8 years. You have the purest soul, and anyone that you meet, honestly, your smile lights up the room. You are such a lovely woman, and the stuff that you've gone through and how resilient you are. Your little boys are going to look at you when they're older and be like in awe of you. Honestly, you've done amazing.
Oh,
You really
thank you so
have.
much. I feel
No,
the same about
honestly.
you, 100%.
Oh,
No,
oh, you're so cute.
100%. We've had so many conversations, haven't we, on the club
Yeah,
floor
yeah,
about all this
literally
sorts of thing.
putting the worlds to rights. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, thank you so much for coming on. I'll add all of your details on the show notes so everyone can come and find you. Guys, make sure that you're following on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Mummahood the podcast. Make sure you leave a review on whatever platform you're listening to us on, and we'll see you same time next week. Love you, bye.